this meditation series. My name is Tova, and today we will practice a meditation together. So, this first video I am creating for what you might call a beginner. So, if you're feeling like I can't meditate or I don't know what meditation is, then this video is for you. And even if you've been meditating a long time, I believe you'll still receive a lot of benefits from listening and moving into the practice of our short meditation today. So, a few things before we get started. If you've ever felt like I can't meditate, first of all, you're not alone. And second of all, that whole notion truly needs to be thrown away because it's impossible to do meditation wrong. And I think that is often the common fear, that we think things are supposed to be a certain way. We think there's a right way to meditate, a right way to do something, and that is absolute nonsense. So meditation is truly about your intention. So the way I like to say it is, right now, if you choose to set the intention to meditate, to clear your mind, that is step one. Whatever happens after that is really none of your business because the meditation is happening and the benefits are happening. It may just not feel like and look like the way you think or hope a meditation should be, because often the picture that is painted is that meditation is blissful and calm and serene and your mind is clear. Well, I'm here to say hell no. Often with meditation, there could be boredom, frustration, sadness, and there could also be the peace and the clarity and the happiness. But it's very common, especially if you're new, and even if you've been doing it a long time, depending on the day and what's going on in your life, that there's a lot of thoughts and a lot of noise and a lot of emotions that are coming up that are really not that fun. But that right there is one of the biggest benefits of meditation. You see, when we take the time to pause and to sit, this is when we finally give our whole system an opportunity to clear. It's like this excavation. It's like whatever is coming up that we've been numbing and hiding through busyness or work or distraction, whatever it is. When we sit, we finally get to know what is it that we've been hiding from? What is it that we've been ignoring? What is it that we've been pretending not to feel and see and know? And so if you're getting all these thoughts come up, it's like, thank God, all the thoughts are coming up because they need to come up so that they can release. That's number one. So there's a huge benefit in just letting yourself sit. And if you want to call it thinking time, then call it thinking time, or just sitting. If you don't even need to label it as meditation, just sit. Because whatever junk is trying to get out of there, whether it's a feeling of boredom, overcome with sadness, maybe there's some humor and silliness and laughter that erupts. And maybe it's just this overwhelming feeling of all these things you need to be doing and shouldn't be sitting here. But the truth is, when you give yourself the time to sit and be here, it actually helps to clear and pave the way of clarity so that you actually can be more effective with your time and so that you can actually be really clear on what's important. So there are so many benefits of meditation, and in every video I'll always be talking about something to do with the behind the scenes of meditation. But for now, we'll move on to what I'll call a step-by-step process of getting yourself ready for meditation. So number one is close off distractions. If your phone's around, turn it off or silent. If there's anything else that's going to buzz or ring, ding, etc., shut that down. And if you do have a phone, normally even if you put it on silent, if you put on a timer, that timer will still go off. So I actually highly recommend a timer if you do this on your own, because you're watching with me today. I'll be here to tell you when it's over. But let's say tonight you want to do just your own meditation without listening to me and just sit on your own. I do recommend have a timer for however long you set it, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however long you choose. Having a timer helps at least relieve that, anxiety or distraction of what time is it? How long has it been? So have the timer. Then your physical body is super important. So find a comfortable position. It might be that you're sitting cross-legged on the ground or a pillow. It might be that you're sitting on your bed. Your legs might be crossed. They might not be. You might be in a kneeling position or legs stretched out in front of you. It really doesn't matter. Now, I do find that there is a different experience between sitting and laying down completely. So if you're familiar at all with a yoga practice, in every yoga practice there is a pose at the end of every yoga physical practice that's called Shavasana. It's laying down, and that is a huge, incredible practice and has so many healing benefits. So, but that practice is different than the meditation practice. So you can meditate laying down and moving into that almost, resting Shavasana state that you might be familiar with from a yoga practice. But I've personally found there's these subtle differences of what comes up and the experience of sitting versus laying. So for the meditation, I recommend sitting, but get as comfortable as you can. And if everything hurts and you need to lay down, that is totally fine. So once you've got, the distractions out of the way, timer set, body in a relaxed state, then I highly recommend closing your eyes. And why do we close our eyes? It's to help minimize distractions. Because right now, if you look around wherever you are, it's like, whoa, most of the time there is stimulation overload. And if you're in a busy city or an apartment building or living with other people and there's noises, it's just so much stimulation all the time. So there's this idea of a withdrawal of the senses, so almost closing the senses down to help with that quality of focus. Now, there are so many techniques of meditation, okay? And there are so many different brands of meditation. I'll tell you one thing, all the yogis, they were wonderful marketers because there is a brand for everything. If you're familiar with yoga, you probably know that there's like 101 different brands of yoga. And I'm not talking about the clothing line, nor am I talking about the different studios. I'm talking about the actual, even the original teachers and how they would coin the type of yoga that they were practicing. But it's just a name. At the end of the day, yoga's yoga. And the same is true for meditation. At the end of the day, meditation's meditation. Now, you might find a certain brand or a certain technique works better for you. We all have different personalities, different things in our lives that have shaped us, and different things that work better for us. But all meditation is meditation. So with that said, there's so many techniques, and the videos that I continue to make, I'll share different techniques. But ultimately, it's as simple as just sit. Sit and practice being present. So what does that mean? Well, the sitting part is self-explained, but the practice of being present this is where the focus comes in, because there is so much you can be present with. But it's about being present with right now. So you can choose, it's very common in meditation that the anchor, the thing that you focus on, is your breath. Take a deep breath right now. Big inhale and full exhale. And once again, inhale and exhale. You see, the reason the breath is such a common anchor is because our breath is always happening right now in this moment. And so it's the perfect tool in a way to help keep you anchored into this moment because it's happening now. And the bigger idea is if you're fully focused on the breath, like really focused on it, its feeling, its rhythm, its speed, its everything, then it's going to be pretty impossible to be thinking about other things because our mind could actually only occupy one space at a time. And this is why so often we feel scattered and overwhelmed because we're all over the place. Meditation creates focus, clarity, and calm because it really helps train ourselves to be present, to stay with that one thing. So the breath is one of the simplest tools, and it's the tool we're going to stick with today. So find a comfortable seat, and you might find it helpful to even roll the shoulders out. You can roll them back or forward. Okay. Gently close your eyes. I am too. Draw your chin slightly in. That helps to lengthen the back of your neck. And take a moment for a really gentle body scan. And starting at the top of your head and working your way down. And so at the scalp, relieving any tension at the scalp. And softening the space between your eyes, the space between your eyes, your jaw, your teeth, and softening through your neck and shoulders, and through your arms and out through the palms. And take a big deep breath. You could exhale out of your mouth and begin to be aware of your throat, the front, the back, and feeling the movement of your breath. Noticing the breath through your heart, the depth of your breath through your lungs, the movement of the abdominal muscles, and sensations through the lower back. And softening all the way down through your whole body, through your hips, thighs, knees, legs, feet. So as your body moves into a deeper, relaxed state, bring your focus back to the breath. And breathing through your nose. And feeling free to exhale from the mouth anytime you'd like an extra sigh, an extra release. And otherwise, simply following the natural rhythm of your breath. Be aware of any thoughts, feelings, sensations that arise. Notice if you're with your breath or if you're lost in a distraction. And see if you can simply notice without placing a judgment. And So we'll move through about 10 deep breaths and all stay silent as you breathe and stay with your experience. Take a moment to notice that experience, even just the 10 breaths. Were there emotions? If there were, can you name them? Was it boredom, anxiety, sadness, peace, anger, frustration, joy, something else? Did you feel things in your body? If you did, where did you feel it? Were there thoughts, to-do lists? Was there something that came up that surprised you? Maybe even felt really important? Maybe something that truly does need to be attended to? So sometimes stopping and pausing, even just 10 breaths, can create so much insight and clarity. And so you can put the video on pause and set your timer and go for longer. And for today, we are keeping the meditation part relatively short. I do recommend the 5-minute meditation where you simply continue practicing, staying with your breath, is following the rhythm, and remembering to stay present with what comes up. And then after, it's often very helpful to even write down or journal a little bit about your experience, especially if something came up for you that feels important. There's so much insight and awareness and healing that comes from the mindfulness meditation practice. Thank you so much for joining me today, especially in this first video that I created. And I hope to create many more soon. Thank you for joining my YouTube channel. And I look forward to continuing the journey with you.